Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss item analysis and validation. Now another step in assessment, aside from going back to your objectives, which is the first step, the second step, which is the construction of your table of specification, the third step that you have to do is you have to conduct first an item tryout after you have constructed the test items. Now part of item tryout is the way you will construct the test items. Sa pag-construct pa lang ng test item, kailangan may touch na yon ng idea na mag-item tryout ka. Bakit kinakailangan mong i-analyze ang item? You have to analyze the item to ensure that each of the tests follows the right difficulty. Meaning, it is not too easy for your students, at the same time, it is not too complex. Meaning, the attainability of the objectives will be met through this item analysis. Now, let us see, what are the steps in item analysis? Now, the first one is you have to construct test items. Sabi natin kanina, ang unang step when you do assessment is you have to go back to your objectives. Pangalawa, you have to construct your table of specification. Okay. Now, right after constructing your table of specification, okay, by the way, sa ibang mga tests sa left, hindi na sinasama yung first step na going back to your objectives. Ang naging first step na kaagad is the construction of table of specification kasi nandun din sa TOS yung test objectives. Anyway, in item tryout, kapag ka magta-tryout ka ng item, ang unang-unang mong gagawin yung pag-construct ng test items. What is the rule in constructing test items? Since this is a tryout and you are going to determine the test items which has the right difficulty, the rule is this. Listen carefully. You have to double the number of the test items in your table of specification. I will repeat. In constructing your test item, it should be double the number of what is in the table of specification. How do you do that? For instance, in your topic A, which has an objective, identify nouns in a sentence, and the test item there, or the test type there, is multiple choice. Now, the number of test items says that in objective A, which is identify the nouns in a sentence, should be 10 items. Since you would like to have an item tryout, you are not just going to construct 10 test items, but you will be constructing 20 test items. I will repeat. Kung ang nakalagay sa TOS, 5 items, dodoblihin mo yung 5 items na yun, gagawin mo 10 items. So you will be constructing 10 items instead of 5 items. Why do you have to do that? Because when you conduct an item tryout and you have computed for the difficulty and discrimination index, some of your items will be discarded. So kung 5 lang talaga ang kinonstruct mo, na-discard yung 2, 3 na lang yung natitira mong test item. Kung 3 na lang yung natitira mong test item, at the end of your test, kulang ng 2 at hindi siya nakapantay sa table of specification. Okay? I hope that is clear. So, the first step in item analysis is constructing test items which are double the number of what is in the table of specification. So, document. Now, the next one is, once you have constructed the test items and all of it from the first type until the end, meaning from all the objectives, specifically for the multiple choice test, doble na talaga siya. Your next step is to conduct an item tryout. How do you conduct an item tryout? It's very basic. You just have to look for a group of students who have the same characteristics as the students to whom you would truly give the test. Halimbawa, kung pilot section ng School A, yung pagsaserva ng test na ito pwede kang humanap ng ibang school or ng ibang section na may pantay na characteristics ni school, ni section A, ni pilot section. Bakit? Para sila yung gagawin mong respondents ng item tryout mo. Para kapag sila ang sumagot, yung degree of difficulty ng level nila is similar to the degree ng difficulty ng level ng mga estudyante kung kanino talaga isa-serve yung test items mo. So, paano na yun? So, after you have constructed the test, makakanta ka na ng item tryout. Students with the same characteristics. Nakapagpa-test ka na ngayon. Naibigay mo na. Okay? Nakuha mo na ulit yung mga test items. Nakuha mo na ulit yung mga test papers. Siyempre, ang next step nun, after mo makuha yung test papers, i-correct mo at i-check mo yung lahat ng test papers yun. Then you're gonna score it out. For example, if it is 50 items, student A, you're gonna count the number of correct answers, you're gonna mark the score 45, and so on and so forth. Okay? Once you have checked the paper, you have corrected the paper, the next step is you have to arrange the scores. How do you arrange the scores? From highest to lowest. Okay? You will now gonna arrange the scores from highest to lowest. Okay? Now, once it is arranged from highest to lowest, you are now going to determine the upper group of the class and the lower group of the class from the arranged scores of the test papers. Hahanapin mo sino yung mga nasa upper group dun sa test na particular na yun at sino yung nasa lower group. How do you determine the upper group and the lower group? Okay? The upper group and the lower group, maybe 27% of the class, while other groups would say that it's 30% of the class, while other groups would say that it's 25% of the class. Depende doon sa manual na ginagamit ninyo. Pero ang institution natin is making use of the 27%. Yun ang reference book natin. 27% ang gamit. So since we will be dealing with 20%, so the idea is that you are going to get 27% of the total number of your respondents, meaning your student respondents. Kung nagpa-test ka sa 60 na estudyante, aalamin mo kung ilan yung 20% ng 60. So it will just be 60 times 0.27 equals 16.2. Okay? Hindi ka naman po pwedeng magkaroon ng 16 na estudyante at 1/4 kasi 0.2 0.25, hindi ganun. Have to round it off. Okay? So you have 16 student respondents in the upper group and in the lower group. So ilan? If you have, so sabi natin dito, no, your upper group and your lower group should be 27% of the total number of your students. Let us assume that the total is 60 students. Now, if the upper group is equal to 27%, then it will be 60 times 0.27. That's 16.2. Since we have to deal with whole numbers because we are dealing with whole people, so therefore it's 60. Okay? The upper group is 16, the lower group is 16. Now suppose you have 50 students only. It's the same process. You have to compute for the 27% of your 50 students. Okay? So alam mo na yung number ng upper group at lower group mo. Okay? So nalaman mo na. Paano mo makikilala kung sino yung upper group at lower group? Yun ang reason kung bakit natin in-arrange ang scores from highest to lowest. Okay, paano yun? Start with the upper group. The upper group, you're gonna start with the highest score and then count 16. From the highest score, count 16 test papers. Okay? Pag nakuha mo na yung 16 test papers, i-separate mo yun. Mark them as your upper group. Okay? Ma'am, paano kung dun sa number 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, pare-pareho sila na 35 ang score. Eh, 18 yun. Magiging 18 po sila kasi pare-pareho po sila ng score. Walang problema. Pumili ka lang kung apat yung nag-tie na yun, pumili ka lang ng dalawa. Kailangan saktong 16. Walang problema kung yung kapareho nila ng score mapupunta sa average group or sa middle group at hindi mapupunta sa upper group. It wouldn't change anything in your result. Basta pumili ka lang ng sasakto sa 16. Kahit marami pa, kahit 20 pa silang nag-tie din sa dulo, basta kompleto lang na 16 yung iyong upper group. Okay? Now, we move to the next group, which is your lower group. What is the lower group then? How do you get it? Kung kanina, from the highest, now count from the bottom, which is the lowest. Yung pinakamababa, magbilang ka doon sa pinakamababa, we counted as 1, papataas. 16 test papers ulit, mula sa dulo hanggang sa pang-16. Kung mag-tie-tie ulit sila, dun sa number 16, it doesn't matter again, just get one among those test papers na nag-tie. Okay lang yun. Okay? So now, separate that again, mark it as lower group. So you now have 3 groups, the upper, the average, and then the lower. What are we going to do with the average? Stay mo lang sila doon kasi kasama sila sa total scores. Okay? So now, after that, the next step is you are now going to construct an item analysis table. I will repeat. You are now going to construct an item analysis table. What does an item analysis table looks like? Okay? Tignan natin. Okay. This is an example. The one here in the board is an example of an item analysis table. Okay? So this is just item 1. Okay? Item 1 for a multiple choice test. For item 1, how do we do item tryout? We do the item analysis table. We construct it. At ito yung itsura ng item analysis table. Ano po ba itong A, B, C, D na ito? Ito yung choices dun sa multiple choice test mo. Okay? Itong A, B, C, D na yan. Ano po itong 12, 25, 13, 10? Tapos total. Okay? If you are gonna count the first column, itong part na ito, you just have to count it. Pag kinount mo yung lahat na yan, ang total niyan ay 60. Ang total niyan ay 60. Okay? So it's 12 plus 25, 37 plus 13, that's 50 plus 10 equals 60. Ito yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina na we have 60 total number of students. Ang total number ng estudyante natin ay 16. Sila yung nagpo-compose ng total number ng estudyante. Ma'am, saan mo nakuha itong A, 12, B, 15, C, 13, D, 10? Sila yung number ng mga estudyante sa upper, lower, at average group na sumagot sa letter A. Okay? Out of 60, there are 12 students who answered letter A. 25 answered B. 13 answered C. And 10 answered D. Sama-sama silang tatlong grupo. Okay? While in the upper group, we have computed the upper group earlier. We said that in 16.2, we had the whole number, that's 16. So doon sa sineparate mo, mula dun sa highest hanggang sa nakarank number 16, titignan mo isa-isa yung sinagot nila sa item 1. Itatali mo yun. Halimbawa, si student 1, A, B, C, D. Sa item 1. Halimbawa, sa upper group, may isang sumagot, sa test paper 1, as in itatali mo siya. Itatali mo siya dyan hanggang sa mag-arrive ka dito. Okay? Hindi po pwedeng tally board ang itsura ng item analysis table ninyo. So you have to place the number. Okay? Paano ngayon yan? You just try to compute it para ma-verify kung talagang 16 sila. So 10 plus 3, 13 plus 2 plus 1, 16. Ganon din yung process sa lower group. Ulitin ko, ganon din yung process sa lower group. Sa lower group, you just have to find kung ano yung sinagot ng 16 na nasa ilalim sa A, B, C, at D. Okay? At yung number na may asterisk, yung letter, sorry, na may asterisk doon, that corresponds to the correct answer. Yun yung correct answer mo. So, kung titignan mo, no, kung sa item analysis mo, so sorry, sa table of specification mo, meron kang 30 items na multiple choice, for instance. Ang rule, you have to double the number of the test items in the table of specification if you're gonna conduct an item analysis. So you're gonna have 60 multiple choice tests. So since you have 60 multiple choice tests na dadaan sa item tryout, you will have 60 item analysis table. Itong table na to, sa item 1 lang ito. Okay? Sa item 1 pa lang yan. So that's how your item analysis table looks like. Now, since ito yung item analysis table natin, ang susunod naman natin gagawin ngayon is we are going to determine now whether we have the right item or the item has to be discarded or it should be revised. Now we are going to proceed with the steps in item analysis. For item analysis, we follow 2 steps. First, compute for the difficulty. Second, compute for the discriminating power. And third, analyze the distractors. So we will now be using your table for item analysis. This is your item analysis table. So for letter A, we have to compute whether the test items has the right difficulties or not. So, for the formula of our difficulty index, we have the total number of correct answers divided by the total number of test takers. So, since we have the word there, total, we are going to focus on the row for the total scores. The total number of correct answers. So, ano yung correct answer dyan? Sinabi natin, itong letter B, dahil may asterisk siya. So, ilan ang estudyante na sumagot sa letter B? Ilan ang correct answers? We have 25. Okay? So, since we have 25, ilalagay na natin doon sa total number of correct answers yung 25 na score. And then, ang sabi dito, we have to divide 25 to the total number of test takers. We have said earlier that we have 60 number of test takers. What if the teacher did not mention that there are 60 number of test takers? It will be easy for us to know kung ilan ang total number ng test takers by looking into the total, the row for the total, whereby you are just going to compute the number of the responses in every letter. So, plus 25 plus 13 plus 10 equals 60. Ganun lang siya. Now, we compute for the difficulty. The difficulty is equivalent to 25 divided by 60. If you're gonna compute for that, you are going to determine that the difficulty index of the test is 0.42. Okay, so you will be able to see there that there is 0.42. Now, we are going to check the description of the score or the difficulty index, which is 0.42. We will proceed to our arbitrary numerical type. Okay, so for our difficulty index, we have the arbitrary numerical guide. Okay. For the range 0.00 to 0.25, That's a very difficult item. So the action that we have to take there is we have to revise or discard the test item. It depends upon you. You will be revising it or discarding it. Titignan natin kung ano yung tamang desisyon pag chinek natin yung discriminating power niya. Next, 0.26 to 0.75, that's average or the right difficulty. You have to retain the item if it falls there. Next, 0.76 to 1.00, that's a very easy item. It's the same thing. You just have to decide whether you're going to revise it or discard it. Now, our score, the difficulty score that we were able to get earlier is 0.42. Nasaan siya? Since nandito si 0.42 between 0.26 to 0.75, we conclude that it has an average or right difficulty. We retain the item. So we retain the item. Okay? In our class, we cannot simply say the item is retained. We have to write down our conclusion. What is our concluding part? You're gonna put it in a sentence. So you're gonna put it this way. The difficulty index of item 1 is 0.42, which indicates that it has the right difficulty. Thus, the item should be, what should be done with the item? Focus on the action taken, sabi doon retain. So, should be retain. So, that's your conclusion. Okay? So, dapat, hindi ka lang nag-stop sa operation. You interpret the difficulty index. What does the difficulty index test? Okay? So, that's letter A. So, imagine na nasa item 1 pa lang tayo at nasa letter A pa lang tayo. Letter B is the discrimination power. Why do we have to determine whether the item has the right discriminating power or it doesn't have the right discriminating power? Discrimination would mean that this item could determine those students who really reviewed or who really know the answer from those students who just guessed or who did not really know the answer. Dapat kaya nitong item na ito na i-determine kung sino yung talagang nag-aral sa mga hindi nag-aral, kung sino yung natuto sa hindi natuto. So, that's the reason why we have the discriminating power. Okay? So, ibig din sabihin nun, even if dun sa letter A, the computation of your difficulty, the difficulty of the test, retain yung sinabi niya. Kung sasabihin sa discriminating power na revise, you have to decide na dapat itong i-revise. You will proceed to the structure analysis. Kapag sinabi ni difficulty na revise, sinabi ni discriminating power na retain, revise ka pa rin. Proceed with the structure analysis. Okay? Pero kapag nag-retain at nag-retain siya, there's no destructor to be revised. Paano kung nag-discard siya? O sabi ng isa, retain. Sabi naman ni discriminating power, discard. You decide. You don't need to revise the item, you will discard the item. Wala ring destructor na i-analyze pa. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Para ma-retain ng item, kailangan both the difficulty and discriminating power would say that it should be retained. Kapag may isa sa kanila na hindi pumayag, nagpa-revise, nagpa-discard, susundin natin yung operation. Okay? So let us now compute for the discriminating power. How do we compute for that? The formula is very simple. du minus dl. What is du? Du refers to the difficulty index in the upper group minus the difficulty in the lower group. So meaning, itong DU na to, you have to compute for the difficulty sa upper and lower group. Yun ang una mong operation. Okay? So, tingnan natin ha. Since ang focus ay upper group, ang tingin lang ay dito sa upper group. Anong formula ng difficulty natin? Kung ang hinihingi ay difficulty ng upper group, it will be, ay sa formula ng difficulty index. Instead na total, ang ilalagay mo dito ay difficulty index of the upper group. Paano yun? So you just have to say number of correct answers in the upper group divided by number of test takers in the upper group. So paano yun? How many students got the correct answer in the upper group? Kasi DU yung pinag-uusapan natin eh. How many students got the correct answer in the upper group? Saan ang tingin? Sa letter B, ang correct answer. Trace mo yung upper group. So we have there 10. We have 10 students who got the items correctly in the upper group. So that is 10. How many? The next part is how many is the total number of test takers. The total number of test takers in the upper group is, you just have to compute for it, 10 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 16. Okay? Pwedeng ang method nyo, 10 divided by 16 agad. Pero pwede nyo rin i-shortcut. Like, i-minus nyo na kaagad kasi pareho namang 16 yung nasa ibaba niya eh. So, difficulty index in the lower group will be, focus na naman sa lower group. Tignan mo. Ilang estudyante ang nakakuha ng tamang sagot sa lower group? We have 6 kasi hindi yung correct answer. So, 6. Ilan ulit ang number of test takers sa lower group? Siyempre, kapantay yung nasa upper group. So, 16 lang din. So, pwedeng ang gawin mo na lang to make it easier is 10 minus 6 equals 4 over 16. Now, 4 divided by 16 equals, the answer is 0.25. Okay? So, the answer is 0.25. Okay? So, that's your discriminating power. Tingnan natin ngayon sa table ng discrimination index kung ano ang description ng 0.25. Does it have the right discriminating power or not? Let us check it out. Okay? So, now we have the table for the discrimination index. Sabi dito, 0.46 to 1.00. It has positive discriminating power. We retain the item. While negative 0.50 to 0.45, positive 0.45, this could not discriminate. Ibig sabihin, hindi niya kayang i-discriminate yung mga nag-aral sa hindi nag-aral. Yung mga natuto sa hindi natuto. So, ang sabi dito, this item must be revised. While, if it is negative 1 to negative 0.51, the item has negative discriminating power, you have to discard it. Anong ibig sabihin ng positive discriminating power? Pag nag-take kayo ng lead exam, alalahanin dito. Kapag positive ang discriminating power, ibig sabihin, mas maraming estudyante ang nakakuha ng tamang sagot sa upper group. Ibig sabihin, dun sa mga nag-aral, dun sa mga natuto, mas marami sa kanila ang nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Kaya siya tinatawag na it discriminated positively. Meaning, tama yung pagkaka-discriminate. Kapag negative discriminating power, dinidiscard natin siya kasi ang nangyayari ay ganito. Mas marami ang nakakuha ng tamang sagot dun sa lower group, meaning dun sa pinoprognose natin o sa iniguess na hypothesize natin na hindi nag-aral o hindi natuto kaysa dun sa mga natuto. Eh, ang tamang item, dapat mas Ang point 25 ay nalolocate natin in between negative 0.5 to positive 0.45. So, nandito siya. Meaning, the item could not discriminate. Meaning, the item cannot really tell us kung sino yung, hindi niya kayang paghiwalayin yung mga nag-aral at hindi nag-aral, yung mga natuto at hindi ka-aral natin. So, here, we revise the item. We are revising the item. Okay? Pero hindi ulit po pwede hanggang dyan lang. We proceed with our sentence conclusion. How do we write it down now? So, ganito lang din. The discrimination power of item 1 is 0.25, which indicates that it could not discriminate properly. Thus, we revise the item. Or thus, the item should be revised. Is as easy as that. Okay? Actually, template na nga halos yan. Ipapalitan mo lang yung mga nakasulat doon. Okay? Now, since ang sabi ni difficulty, retain. Sabi ni difficulty, retain, no? Pero ang sabi ni discrimination, revise. What should we follow? Ano ang gagawin natin? Okay? Since ganun ang nangyari, what we're gonna do is, we have to proceed with letter C. Ano yung gagawin natin sa letter C? Okay? For letter C, we will proceed with the structure analysis. Bakit the structure analysis? Kasi, ang sinasabi sa atin, ang decision natin, ang main decision natin is not to retain but to revise. Kailangan may baguhin tayo dun sa item ng buwan na yun. And since kinakailangan may baguhin tayo, we cannot revise the stem. Meaning, hindi natin pwedeng baguhin yung tanong. Kasi kapag binago mo yung tanong, nirevise mo yung tanong, binago mo na yung buong item. So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi ka nag-revise, nag-discard ka kasi pinalitan mo. Okay? Eh, bakit po yung destructor ang i-revise? Hindi natin pwedeng i-revise yung correct answer. Kasi yun nga yung tamang sagot. So, ang i-revise natin ay yung mga options na hindi tama. Ang tawag natin doon ay destructor. In our case, we have destructor A, C, and D. These are now our destructors. A, C, and D. Sila yung tatlong destructors natin. I-analyze natin sa kanila. Silang mabuti. Alin sa kanila ang dapat kong palitan? Alin sa kanila ang kinakailangan kong baguhin? Ano yung pattern mo para malaman kung alin sa kanila yung dapat baguhin? Titingnan mo mabuti. Una na process natin. Unang process natin or unang indication natin that it should be revised. Pagka sa upper group at sa lower group, walang pumili sa destructor na ito, kailangan siyang palitan. Kung walang pumili sa upper group, pero marami ang pumili sa lower group dun sa destructor na yun, good yun. Pero, kung sa lower group, zero din, walang pumili sa kanila, at ang nangyari, for example, just an example, okay? 0, 0. This has to be revised. Destructor A should be revised. Okay? So, but in our case, 3 and 5 siya. Next. Another point of revising is if in the destructor, mas marami ang sumagot sa kanya sa upper group kesa sa lower group. For example, dito sa distractor C5 at 2, mas marami yung lower group. So we say that this is a good distractor. Pero halimbawa, ang nangyari ay ganito. Kay upper group 5, kay lower group ay 2. This distractor should be revised. Bakit? Kasi sabi natin, ang distractor dapat mas attractive sa hindi nag-aral kesa sa nag-aral. So meaning, mas attractive dapat kay lower group yung distractor C. Pero dito, mas naging attractive siya kay upper group. Okay? Next, another point is, kung pantay yung number of student na kumuha doon sa, or sumagot doon sa distractor na yun. Kapag pantay sila, ibig sabihin, kinakailangan natin i-discard kasi hindi nakakapag-discriminate yung distractor na yun. Sabi nga natin, dapat mas marami ang sumagot sa kanya sa lower group kesa sa upper group kasi nga distractor siya. Okay? So with that idea, ibig sabihin nun, si distractor D ang dapat natin i-revise. Okay? So ano yung last part natin dito sa distractor analysis? Sa distractor analysis, we say that papalitan natin si distractor. I-revise natin siya. Okay? May mga cases po na dalawang distractor yung nagpo-fall doon sa principles of analyzing distractor na po pwede natin siyang tanggalin kasi hindi siya nakapag-discriminate. Pwede yun. You can say here na distractor A and D should be revised. Paano kung tatlo? Kung tatlo at wala ka naman ng tinamang options, no? Lahat ay kinakailangan na i-revise. Okay lang din siya. Pero kung meron namang ibang mga items, huwag mo na siyang isama doon sa final item mo. Discard mo na lang siya kasi mahina yung item na yun dahil lahat ng distractor kinakailangan na i-revise. So you have to really follow yung mga rules in constructing distractor. Yung sabi doon sa rule in constructing multiple choice, distractor has to be plausible and attractive. Pag sinabing plausible, katanggap-tanggap yung distractor na yun dun sa mga nag-aral, attractive naman siya dun sa mga lower group. Ganun dapat ang distractor. Okay? Katanggap-tanggap, pwedeng tanggalin anytime. Kung ako yung nag-aral, pag plausible yung distractor na yun, ibig sabihin na kaya ko talagang i-identify na, hindi ito yung tama sa ko. Hindi talaga ito yun. Pero nakaka-confuse pa rin siya kahit mabaan. Okay? Ma'am, another question is, some of you might be wondering, ma'am, sabi doon revise. Pero lahat naman, mas mataas yung sumagot sa mga distractors sa lower group. Halimbawa, kung ganito to, pag tinignan mong mabuti yung pattern, ma'am, okay naman kasi lahat sa lower group, mataas yung mga nakuha nila, o mas mataas yung dami ng kumuha o sumagot sa distractor na yun kesa sa upper group. Paano po yun, ma'am? Kung ganyan, pero ang sinasabi ay revise, i-check out ninyo yung distractor na may pinakamaliit na difference between upper and lower group. Katulad dito, si upper group at si lower group sa letter A may 2 points difference. Si letter C naman may 3 points difference, pero kay letter D, 1 point difference lang sila. So kung meron mang may pinakamahina dyan pagdating sa distractor analysis under discriminating power, si letter D pa rin. So siya pa rin ang i-revise. Okay? So, that is how you conduct an item analysis with the inclusion of distractor analysis, computation of difficulty, and discriminating power. So, I hope you learned something today. Your teachers will be giving more examples for you. Thank you so much.